It's ridiculous to think about how the NFC East has played itself out, but with 2 weeks to go, they all, save for the Redskins, have a chance to win the division. Hey, how are you, folks? Jason Horowitz, NFL.com's Pat Kerwin. Glad to be with you here on CBSSports.com. And yes, that does include the 6-8 Philadelphia Eagles, who can win the division with a win against Dallas, a win against the Redskins, a Jets win against the Giants, and then a Giants win against the Cowboys next week. It sounds like a lot, but frankly, Pat, it's really not. When you think about it, it's basically just home teams winning. How do you see the NFC East with 2 weeks to go?
I'm still in favor of the Giants. Now, I look at the Eagles a lot like I look at the Chargers. Two red-hot football teams that might not have enough time to get this job done. If they both got into the playoffs, or either one, especially the Eagles, I think they're extremely dangerous right now. And that's pretty obvious when you watch the Eagles. The Eagles need to be when they're at their best, they are the fast start football team. And in their wins, they get to 21 points by halftime.
Well, and they were up 28-0 before the Jets knew what happened last week. And a lot of that was because of the defense, Pat. And the defense has taken so much criticism this year because when you think about back to the offseason, all the guys they brought in, right, were on defense.
Right.
With the exception of a couple parts on the offensive line and a guy like Ronnie Brown. They were all on defense. Last week, the defense played spectacular. And against the Cowboys, when they beat them 41-7, the defense was spectacular. What might be different this week against this Cowboys offense?
Well, I think their spectacular status comes from their pass rush. And Jason Babin's got 6 sacks in the last 2 weeks. Trent Cole is doing his job on the other side. They made one huge error back in August. They did not put a veteran linebacker or linebackers on the team. Imagine if they just signed Stephen Tulloch. Imagine if you just put Stephen Tulloch in the middle of this thing. A lot of the issues they have against the run would have been slowed down and minimized, and that offense that gets that fast start could have really protected the defense. But they got so young in the linebacker core, they got exposed. Now, they've kind of closed up some of those problems. And the offense, again, supports the D with a quick score.
It does, but they've got to score a lot because, look, I know they beat the Cowboys 41-7, but since that game, 7 games, Tony Romo's 18 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, Pat. He's been on fire, as good as anybody in the NFL the last 7 games.
I knew you'd ask me about Tony Romo. Yes, he's on tremendous fire, if you will, but I'll give you 2 guys burning a lot brighter than him. Matt Stafford from your Detroit Lions, and I know you love him, and the guy down in New Orleans is completely exploding. So Tony is a fine football player, and he is playing his best football right now, and you cited the interceptions. That's his strongest suit. The guy doesn't throw picks. They will not win or lose this game. If they win a game, it'll be because of Tony. They will not lose a game because of Tony Romo, and people need to lay off him. Their issues are on defense.
And that comes up with LaShawn McCoy, because when you go back to that 41-7 loss, he had a career-high 185 yards. He's got 20 touchdowns from scrimmage, which broke an Eagles record that has stood since 1945. Is it first and foremost stop him, then we deal with Michael Vick?
I think it happens simultaneously. That's what maybe is unique about about Philadelphia. That's not just the great running back. A lot of teams that would have a guy with that kind of production in a game, you would be focused on him. But they bait you into focusing on McCoy because they're perfectly willing to let Vick try to beat you as well. So it's a two-headed conflict. You got to deal with it the whole time. And if Deshaun Jackson ever wakes up totally and gets back into the flow of this thing, I think Macklin will, but if Deshaun does, who came alive last week? Brent Selleck. If you study them over the last month, Selleck has been coming alive week after week. So to me, they have enough weapons to beat the Cowboys.
Whole lot more targets the last 6 weeks than he did the first 8 weeks of the season. Pat, this is a huge game, as big as any this weekend. Who you like?
I like the Philadelphia Eagles in this game. I like them just same reasons I like the San Diego Chargers. I think they're intent to prove something late in the season. Mike Vick has got to, even if they don't make it, establish that we are a good football team, enough with the dream business and all that for next year. They are focused. I think Dallas has a lot of pressure on them at home. They always do. There's a tough situation for them. You can give me the Eagles.
Dallas always folds in December. That's what you count on that like you count on Santa Claus being on the roof. For more, keep it right here, CBSSports.com. It's 4:15 Eastern on Saturday. For Pat Kerwin, I'm Jason Horowitz.
Take care, folks.
It's a special Saturday edition of NFL on Fox. It's another great slate of NFL action. Saturday, only on Fox.